Hey, welcome back to the channel. This should be all handled now. You can actually feel a little, the staples kind of came through the outside here. Just saying that for me, I guess. So I'm going to pop in here and get these staples out. All right, so that's where we left off yesterday. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get the I'm just going to mount this in place, get the Gascolator in there, and we will. It's kind of bright. This is not a bad location. I'm gonna smooth out this hole a little bit right here. Some sandpaper. All right, so I'm going to take my drill and I'm going to drill back through these holes. All right, so now I'm going to hop on the outside over there. I'm going to countersink for these screws, and then we'll be able to get this mounted in place, and then we can figure out where the facet pump is going to go. And I may wait until I get my fuel shut off before I do that, but we'll check that out. So. Okay, here we go. All right, so I just want to see real quick what we look like on the bottom. Yeah, that's it actually came out exactly where I wanted it to. It's just a little bit off the surface because I want to be able to put a like kind of a rubber gasket right underneath where the drain is, and so that works out really well. All right, so that's plenty of clearance from the floorboard. I think that's a good spot. Yeah, I can certainly keep my eye on it. It's right there. I'll probably have to put a drain hole here somewhere, just in case it springs a leak. But either way, I'm gonna have quick, easy access to it. It's a really nice Gascolator, so once it's sealed, it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so that's that. And now I think I'm actually going to wait for, I'm going to wait until to put the other part in until I get the, it'll arrive today. My shutoff valve is actually So the fuel shutoff valve actually fits into this 1/4" NTP here and sticks out right here. So the no reason to put one in separately when I've got access to it right there. So so that'll work really good. And I am let's see, I am thinking that when I put the and air fitting on the bottom, if I have a rubber gasket and a washer underneath, I could probably put a rubber washer underneath and then a rubber washer on top here, and I'll be able to isolate that Gascolator on the bottom, which I think will work out really well. But it's going to be kind of convenient that the the shutoff is just going to be right here, and then I think probably right up here somewhere, maybe halfway between the Gascolator and that pedal, might be the right place for the facet pump. So, all right, now what do we do? I think what I'm going to do now is I was working on the steering arm, because that needed to be done, and I want to work on the standoffs, which I think I'm actually gonna do that first. I'm gonna build the standoffs for this control cable. And I'm going to use 1, 2, 3 of them. I'm going to put one on this bottom member here in the center, and then I'm going to put one on this diagonal member here, and then I'm going to put another one off of this upper member right here. And I think those 3 will provide the necessary support for this. So the cable diameter is the outside of the sheathing is 1/2 inch. So we're going to test it real quick with a scrap piece of mahogany. And all I'm going to do is just going to drill a 1/2 inch hole. And then we'll just take like so, and then we'll go test this. Go test this over the cable here. See how that works out. And it's actually not 1/2 inch. It appears like it's only 3/8. So good to know. Let's try another one. All right, so let's try again here. It is somewhere in between, so let me get this just slightly larger. All right, so a 3/8 drill bit, with some sandpaper wrapped around it. Turns out to be the perfect size once you get that to fit after drilling at 3/8. It turns out to be the perfect size. So here's the plan. What we'll do is we'll have a piece that'll get epoxied to this member here that fits over the top this way, and it'll get epoxy to here. Now it'll be cut to a size here, so I'm just using a template here. And then we have another piece that has a slot in it that'll come up from the bottom this way, and then it'll actually end up screwing. It'll screw into this one, and then that'll completely capture that, and it'll also be easily removable by just taking the bottom piece off. Each one will have to be custom made because they're going to be different sizes. This one's pretty close to the member here. That one's close there. So actually they're all going to be similar, because we got this one and the one on the bottom there, and then this one right here. Once that's locked in place, this becomes very stiff back here. So let me cut some strips out of this material here. Let's find a scrap piece that we can cut up here. And I think the right size, as far as the width goes, will probably be somewhere around maybe 1.5 inches. But how wide is this piece? It's like 1.5 inches. So maybe a piece that's 1.5 inches wide. So I'll cut some 1.5 inch strips off here, and then we'll go from there. All right. Let me catch you up where I'm at here. I've got my little square piece here that I made, and you can see that I've marked where my hole has to be drilled, and that's based on the fact that this gets epoxied to there, and then the hole, basically it will hold this piece just off of the member a little bit, and whenever it's pushed up there and epoxied. So that's the first step, and then I'll just kind of drill them. So I only marked 3 of them because I'll drill both of these at the same time. You know, sometimes I feel a little crazy, like including all of these details, but I figure I think it's worth the effort, because I think it's really worth the effort, because so many times in the building process we come across things that we're dealing with and trying to figure out, and we think about who can we call, who can we talk to about it. I have my resource, Lowell Ferrand. He's the one who got me into being a technical counselor. He's been a tech counselor and a DAR and everything for a really long time. He's in his 80s now. Still flies his Luscombe and out of his own home strip there in Indiana. And so I call him up frequently when I have questions, and he takes care of me. And he's built many Maxes, as most of you know. He was actually part owner in the company for a really long time, and very much a important resource through the history of building Minimax, or the whole line of airplanes, actually. So you never know when you see me do something that might trigger like whatever you might be building, or maybe you don't even build airplanes, but you build other things, or you're problem solving. I have this theory about problem solving. The more you solve, the more you work through solving problems, the more the more you become that type of a person who solves problems. And they're all similar in how you approach them and how you work your way through them. Is I don't know. I personally think it goes way beyond building airplanes. I think it is a it's one of the reasons why I enjoy doing this so much, is because I know it sounds crazy. I'm also an oil painter, and it has a way of making you see things differently, because I go outdoors and I paint while I'm outdoors, standing there looking at the scene. And this has got some similar attributes where you learn ways of doing things that kind of just roll over into your life, and how you look at things and how you solve things. Number one, it teaches you that there's always a path, and all you have to do is find it. And so there's a lot in that. But so I've got these matched up, and now all we have to do is we'll just take our we'll just make our lines on these so that we can cut to the outside of the hole, just so we have some guide for our bandsaw, and we just don't go wandering off into the wilderness here. So we'll get these just marked out real quick, and then we'll be able to go cut them. And then we'll take our drill bit and our sandpaper, and we'll just expand these holes a little, and then we'll go on to the next step. All right, cool. All right, so now we got them cut. All we got to do is work our drill bit in here. All right, so I just wanted to show you kind of how this is playing out here. So this is what we have. Is first you put this piece here, gets epoxied onto here, and then after that is complete, then this piece will actually slip on over it like that, and then when that's in place, it'll get a screw here and here, and then that holds that on. If you ever need to access it, then you just take the screws out, pull this out, and then this can come out and be replaced. So I've got 3 of those to epoxy on, and then once that's all cured, then we can get these screwed in place. And this one will be easily accessible from the underneath the stabilizer. If I ever need access to that one, that'll be a little more of a challenge. It will probably require an inspection plate on the bottom of the plane, and the same applies here. If I ever need to get that one loose, I'll need an inspection plate. there as well. I could probably put this one think about this a second. My arm in here. I could probably put this one here, facing forward, and then I would have oh, I take that back. It would be this one facing forward on this side, then I would have access to it through this opening here, through this opening right here. I'd be able to get a screwdriver on that probably pretty easily if I needed to. So it would just be the middle one that would be living its own life out here in the middle of nowhere. But so I will put this one on the back side, I will put that one on the front side, and then I will put this one probably on the back side. So let me mix up some epoxy real quick and we'll get these clamped in place. All right, so I just got one more thing to do. This is the tail wheel steering bar right here. These are the dimensions that we're working with. So I have it all marked out here on my piece, and this procedure is pretty standard through most of these things that you make. You start with a center line if something is on the center, but most measurements are taken off a center line anyway. So center line, 3¼ inches out to each side is where your rudder cables come back to. For the steering, the center hole is 5/16 because it's going to get a bushing that fits over the 3/16 bolt that's back there, and then you get a 1/4 inch diameter hole here, which will be for the rod end that is actually going to go back to the steering arm right here. So what happens is the steering bar goes as part of this bolts assembly right here, and it gets a bushing and a couple washers. It actually exits the fuselage right here. So we got a couple slots to make when the time comes to get that. So I've got this marked out. I'm just going to drill it 3/16 hole here, 3/16 here, 1/4 inch here, 5/16 in the middle, and yeah, and that will we'll probably work with this next time around. And there's so many things to do. I want to get the kind of the canopy windscreen done. So I've got my material for that, the polycarbonate here. I've got the hinges over there, yeah. So that's going to be it for me today. Thanks for hanging out and checking out the video. So we got the Gascolator mounted in here, and I feel really good about that. It's out of the way. It's going to be attached in a way that's really, really good. So as long as everything works out, which I believe it will be, it's nice and low, so there would be a definite, especially when it's just sitting in this position, you'll have water draining, if there is any water. You'll have water draining from the tanks down to there and from the engine back to there, so it'll definitely be the low point of the fuel system. So yeah, anyway, hey, I'll catch you later.